Coping with Loss with Theresa Brockmeyer, clinical mental health therapist, and I'll be your host for this video today. I received my degree from Bellevue University for mental health counseling. Terms and understanding loss. Bereavement. People cope with grief differently. Grief, complicated grief, and there's prolonged grief. And then there's also traumatic grief. There's different stages, and we all handle grief differently. And I've been through grief recently with my father passing. There's also dynamics of bereavement. There's cultural dynamics that plays a role. People bereave different and experience loss and grief differently with different cultures. And there's 3 patterns of response: death accepting, death defying, and death denying. And even loss of job can even make you grieve. And loss of residence, and loss of a pet. There's different approaches to bereavement. The circumstances of a loss have major impact on the grief. Some deaths can be unexpected, traumatic, or stigmatized. Death by suicide. Grief does not have a set time frame. It can last for weeks, months, or years, and it can come and go around the holidays, in waves, in anniversaries, major life events. Grief does tend to lessen in intensity over time. Grief may contribute to other problems. Seek help, support from family and friends, and also contact a local therapist, and it can truly help you. Types of loss. Death of a spouse, one of the most emotionally stressful and disruptive events in life. And there's more widows than widowers. And loss due to caregiving, and death of a child. All types of loss. You can take time to stop the video, and you can take a screenshot of this worksheet that could be helpful in your grieving process. Types of loss. Bereavement can have different effects at different stages in your life. Bereavement in your childhood, as toddlers, it could be scary. And primary school age children start to begin the fear of dying. Another interesting thing is bereavement in the elderly, because they outlived their friends and their parents and some siblings, and sometimes they outlive their children. And my grandma had a friend that was 106 years old. Other things is being grief, like long-term sickness that doesn't give them the life that they once had, job loss and loss of money, and separation and divorce, and they grieve that missing partner, and death of a pet, and complicated grief due to trauma, clues to identity to complicated grief reactions, and so many things that people wouldn't think of as grieving. Being there for grievers and just having the empathetic presence and gentle conversations and knowing the right time to ask if they're okay. Because when grievers are asked if they're okay, that's when they feel the wave come back, because they're not okay. And providing that available space can allow time for healing. And eliciting trust allows time for healing. Let's talk about coping strategies. Allow time for healing and take care of yourself with self-care. Think of all the memories that were positive of the person that you lost and honor them in some way. Start a journal or write the loved one a letter. Surround yourself with family and friends on holidays, birthdays, and anniversaries. Just breathe. Allow your time to feel emotions. Thank you for your time watching this video. And of course, if further grief counseling is needed, contact your local therapy office and or Google grief groups in your area. But if you're in the Southwest Iowa area, we have offices in Glenwood, Council Bluffs, Red Oak, Dunlap, Woodbine, Avoca, Plattsmouth, and I'm located in Sidney office in Sidney, Iowa, where the famous rodeos happen.